So, tomorrow in Bible study, we will be looking at the book of Ecclesiastes, and we've been exploring the wisdom literature. Now, last week, we started in Proverbs, where you were learning a lot of different pieces of wisdom literature and little tidbits that were good for developing wisdom and the fear of the Lord, those being central to the book in ways to honor God. And that notion of fear being not we should be afraid of God, that we can't come to God, but it's a fear of knowing who God is, having a reverence for God. And so seeking wisdom is good. But the book of Ecclesiastes this week is going to kind of take us in a different direction. And the second verse of Ecclesiastes says this: Vanity of vanities, says the teacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. And the Hebrew word for that is hevel. And it's kind of a difficult word to translate. It's translated in this as vanities. It also can be translated as like a meaninglessness or even something like breath. And the idea more of that word is something you can't grasp hold of. You can try all you want to grasp onto it, but you just can't get your hold on it. Think of it like an idea of chasing the wind or vapor before you. You can't grasp onto it. It will just go right through your hands. And so this book of wisdom talks about life and the realities of the things that we chase in life, things that we look to for our own self-indulgence or our meaning in life, that we try to hold a firm grip on things in life. But the reality is that all eventually does pass away, that the nature in front of you may stay for generations. It was there generations before you. It will be there after you die. But as hard as we try to hold on to those things, we can't. And so the book of Ecclesiastes takes us through this cycle of this reality of seeking wisdom and how we can easily get caught up in the things that we think are things that give us security. But the reality of time ticking by, the movement of time will not stop, that there is always going to be times of good things, times to celebrate things. But the reality is we also will experience pain and sorrow. And as much as we try to seek meaning in that or reasoning behind that, we can't. That sometimes things just happen and they have no explanation. And so this book kind of at first when you read it is kind of dismal because it's kind of seeing that as much as we try to grasp on to that vapor or that hevel or that vanity that we seek some sort of control, that we really don't have control over our lives. So why this book? The point of the book, though, is that we're taken through this whole journey of how easily we can get wrapped up in the security of other things. But the real security we need to put our trust in and our faith in is God. And that's where the book leads us to, that even though life happens and death happens, and even though good things and bad things happen in our life, that maybe we don't have this control over everything in our lives. We can't even hold on to it forever. But the one thing that the book of wisdom here is calling us on is to remember the wisdom of fearing the Lord. And in that fearing the Lord, to take our clenched fists that we try to hold on to things and to open them up in trust to God. That is true wisdom that the book of Ecclesiastes says, is that God has given you the freedom of life to enjoy, to live, to prosper, and to realize that you really don't have control over your life and certain things, that come your way. But the point of your life is to live in the trust of the God who loves you, the trust in the God who is with you in that journey. And so we're going to take a deep dive. Those are the big kind of overarching themes of this book. And I hope that you'll join us for our next Bible study. See you then.